All right, we are live on the web. Just warning y'all ahead of time.
Oh,
Thank you for
fuck.
the heads up.
Thank you, live.
Okay, so where we last left off, you did fight a massive white dragon who actually capitulated, surrendered after y'all gave it a nice ass whooping, and it handed over its treasure. It said, and then quickly flew away. You find yourselves now still in the mountains, trying to decide what to do. I will transfer us here real quick. So you know you're in the Ashen Keep Mountains. And you're heading off in this direction somewhere here.
Is Gasher still unconscious? Because we don't know where we're going.
Some of the pilgrims know, and it's actually a trail.
Okay.
Who wants to make a medicine check on Gasher?
I'll do that as soon as I can see things.
Yeah, not it.
So go ahead from your character sheet and just roll a medicine check. Let me do this real quick.
Blind or public?
You can make it public.
May I assist? I am proficient in medicine.
I will roll with advantage then.
I can start internal chest compressions if we need be.
Internal chest compressions?
That escalated very quickly.
It
If
did.
need be, not for funsies.
It looks like he has succumbed to the pearly gates and has passed from this realm. But due to the cold weather, his body's not decaying. So if somebody had the ability to cast spells, you may be able to bring him back.
I'm pretty certain that one of the nuns that was traveling with the pilgrims.
Yeah, didn't she already do that?
Liliana Cade.
So you want her to cast Revivify on him?
Yes.
Well, she already did something to him.
Yeah. I don't remember.
But
That's been a
Pandora
week.
wrote it down, so it must be.
Sure.
He is alive.
Yeah, so one of the members of the pilgrim group, she casts Revivify right towards the end of the combat and is able to bring him back to a stabilized condition. He's still unconscious, but he is alive still. So what do you wish to do at this point?
I think we have no choice but to carry on towards the monastery.
Well, okay. So yeah, so the remember you're originally getting ready to bed down and take a camp, but the pilgrims are like very, very insistent that you not, with a green, white dragon flying around the mountains that's really upset from being defeated. It's probably not. You all realize it's probably not wise. The pilgrims are able to construct a simple sling-like mechanism to carry your companion on.
I travel beside the sling and I hold his hand.
Yes, you do. So Gusher, he's like, he's very tired and exhausted, and as you know, he's in half orc, and he goes, follow the trail, and he kind of points along, and you do see there is a trail that leads along here, and you begin following that, and every once in a while he'll like pipe up and say, no, the other direction, and eventually he leads you slowly but surely through the rest of the mountains. The sun begins going down and begins to get dark, and in the large peaks of the mountains about you loom over, and the sun begins quickly disappearing behind them. The temperature begins to drop. If you have beards or large eyelashes or eyebrows or your hair, anything like that begins to get bits of snow forming on them and ice, and you're just like bundled up trying to stay warm. And as you travel further and further southward and higher into the mountains, you finally see up ahead of you as you round one particular peak, trudging through, knee-deep snow and ice. You see a town up ahead of you, illuminated. And he goes, Hudath, and he kind of points in that direction. You see a small town that has somewhat of a fortified structure around it. You see there's also what appears to be a monastery, which the pilgrims all are quite exuberant about and begin saying words of praise. Let me pull up my notes real quick.
Don't forget to take your long rest, folks.
Some are saying, "Oh, fake Palor the Dawn Father," and a few in the crowd are quietly saying, "Rhea the Everlight." And y'all know, Rhea is not an official deity of the Empire. She is not endorsed or supported by the Empire. Only Palor is really, one of the prime deities that is recognized within their country. The ones who are praising the Everlight, they're very quiet about it, and they don't seem to be near the Palor worshippers. You're not sure what that's about.
Did we take a long rest along the way?
No,
Yeah.
they're
Well,
quite.
it's days, so
You have pressed through the night and
Oh,
arrived. Yeah, the pilgrims were quite insistent that you not break because they were very, very concerned about
That
enemies.
is what I thought.
Give me a second. I'll catch my notes up here.
Like a character photo.
All right, so the village of Hudath huddles in the foot of an imposing stone structure, the monastery of Palor, the Dawn Father. Curious locals and monks stare at you as your group makes your way in. The doors of the monastery are open for you as you're escorted in. Some of the acolytes rush forward, taking your injured away and tending to them. The pilgrims in your group depart with goodbyes and embraces to join the line heading into the monastery itself. A priestess by the main door calls to your party. My name is Erisma Lobrero. I am the abbess of the monastery. Welcome, and thank you for escorting the pilgrims. She says to you.
Very welcome.
And she kind of like turns around and motions in a gentle way to follow her as the pilgrims go off to the right into the main chamber, and she begins kind of like skirting them as you go in. Cold light filters into the large windows of this large chapel-like structure. It's an enormous central sanctuary. The air is filled with the sounds of muttered prayers and murmurs. There's a pungent scent in the air mixed with the scent of medicine, herbs, and blood. You definitely smell the tinge of that copper smell of blood in the air.
Smells like home.
It does, right? Surrounding a central dais are dozens of robed monks kneeling in prayer. The focus of their attention is a bed where an old man lies, unconscious, tended to by several monks. Around the bed are small tables with vials of medicines and other various smelling concoctions, tinted in a rainbow of colors. As you walk past this, she says, "This is the High Harvester. He is very ill. His time to rejoin the mother is near. Let us pray, pay our respects. Then I will speak with you in the gardens if you don't mind." And she takes a moment, pauses, and she does a quick little prayer. Do any of you also do a prayer?
I do.
All right.
pray.
I'll bow my head.
You'll take
I'll
a
be right
moment.
back.
To what?
I gotta get the bacon out of the oven. I'll be right back. You can continue, of course.
Oh, no, I'll wait.
All right.
While we have this little bit, Hexa, I was wondering if the silver inlaid in my rapier gives me any bonus against undead or anything,
Well, only if they're affected
Cool.
by silver.
like werewolves or
Yeah.
vampires or
Well, not all vampires are affected by silver, but yes.
they do in my world.
They are in my
Sparkly
world.
ones do.
So some other day we should work out what that damage is, and I could add it as, and then like when it would need
So
to
a
be
silvered
applied.
weapon just makes them susceptible to your attack. Sometimes they're immune to attacks without silver.
Oh,
So
got it. Okay.
it doesn't add extra damage. It just makes them damageable by your weapon. Does that make sense?
Let's go find things that like don't like silver so I can cut them.
My.
Okay.
Done.
So just take a 5-minute break while our friend Hath does his thing. Go smoke a cigarette or whatever it is you do. If I can answer any questions, please let me know.
Am I already a part of the group, or am
No.
I going to get introduced?
Not yet.
I've been hanging back. I figured that's how we were going to go.
So if you want to change your profile picture on Zoom,
Oh, yeah.
the little arrow next to your stop video button. That sounds ominous.
I'm blind and need lights. I can't see otherwise. I had to turn my lights on so I could see, basically.
I rearranged my desk for like the 5th time since I moved in 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Nice.
And now, like, I'm not whited out and I can actually see my desk. It's not in darkness.
So I see the camera arrow, but it's like video settings, video filter.
Okay,
over
click
go
on
back.
video settings and
Okay.
click on the general tab.
General.
Down at the bottom, click view more settings and it should open a web page.
Okay.
And you sign in there.
Excuse me.
You can also turn down your local music volume. So in the UI interface of Foundry, you'll see like a little musical note in the upper right-hand corner of your UI, and you can adjust the playlist volume. And be aware, I sometimes mute players when they start having feedback noise. So all of you are currently muted, just letting you know.
It must be coming from your computer then, because I can't, like, the volume's all the way down on my
No, it was
interface, but I can
somebody
still hear it.
else's. When I muted everybody else, it stops.
You can't hear it right now?
I hear no feedback right now.
No, I meant the music.
I hear the music,
Oh, okay.
which is fine.
Hello.
So it's definitely Erican. So Eric, in the upper right-hand corner of your UI, you see a little musical note. Do you see that?
Oh, that's better.
Do you see it in the upper right-hand corner, Erican? Arakan. How do you pronounce your character name, by the way?
Arkin, yes, I
Arkin.
got it. Sorry.
That's okay. So in the upper right-hand corner, do you see the little musical note?
Yes, I was able to get it turned down.
All right, so like you can turn and play the music down really low or not. Some people will use headphones for the ears, and so their audio is routed through the headphones, but not through the microphone. Just, so it was a way to avoid that.
Yeah, no, it overwhelmed me for a moment. I've got
Yeah.
sensory stuff, so it's like, I can't hear what's happening.
I was trying to text really fast how to do it.
Yeah, I just turned it
Yeah.
off temporarily for you, and then I'm gonna turn it back on now. So
Cool. Thank you.
Oh, did you hear too many sounds at once?
I did hear too many sounds at once.
It happens to me.
Wouldn't that make it really loud on the Twitch streaming?
I have it set to playlist. It's like way down.
Okay.
So
I'm back. Thank you for your patience, folks.
that's okay.
I have a cat other than Pandora.
All right. So where we last left off, you were all observing the prayers of the pilgrims and the various servants of Palor, the Dawn Father, and a few others in here, but you're having a hard time making that out exactly. But they're basically just paying their respects. What do y'all wish to do at this time? She says, when we're ready, we can head off to the garden.
Let's go. You're muted, Pandy.
I just move to the back and stay quiet.
Okay.
Just respectfully, just out of the way.
All right. All right. So she takes you off to the side and heads through several chambers and then out into a patio. As you walk out, it's an open courtyard that's walled by the various sides of the structure with which you're in itself. Snow has begun to kind of fall around and about the area. And the abbess leads you to a small private garden away from many of the pathways. The earth here is hard and mostly barren, so there's not very many plants around and about. Ice and snow is kind of formed on the edges of the battlements all around the walls about this garden, and in the eaves of the building, tops of the ceilings and stuff. A few windows above kind of shine light down into the garden, but overall the garden is unlit. You notice an overturned wheelbarrow and its contents strewn about the area. The abbess checks to ensure that you're all alone. She kind of looks around for a moment, see if there's anybody else here. And she motions to the last of you coming through the door to shut it behind you. She says,
That would be Nick, I think.
yeah. And she goes, we recently had an attack here within the abbey. And anyway, I understand that all of you are, well, of the sellsword type. We would appreciate you if you would help us with this and try to come to find out who committed this crime. And then she walks over to the wheelbarrow where there's a large kind of like blanket tarp that has snow and ice on it. And she pulls it back, and you can hear the cracking of the ice and the snow as she pulls it back. And below that is a pale arm and a hand. And as she pulls it back, a lifeless female is spread out underneath the tarp. You see no obvious signs of damage to her body, but she's clutching a small black disc.
What happened to her?
She goes, we don't know. We found her here in the courtyard, and well, we don't want to send a panic through the other pilgrims, or as one of our primary concerns. But she was found by an Arakan who was here doing some studies of a more, of a more wizardly type, arcane type studies, because Well, there's lost ruins to the east of us here of an old ancient wizard, but nonetheless, Arkan, and she kind of points off to another door, and as that door opens up, you see a rather long, brown hair, very rugged looking individual come out with big, heavy furs around about them, who kind of steps out with flowing robes about them and a staff with a beautifully glowing blue crystal along the top. Give me 1 second. I got a dog barking outside.
Pandora,
It wasn't me,
Can you let the dogs in, please?
don't take the sparkles.
Barking?
but it's shiny.
No.
And it's blue like my eyes.
Yeah, no.
That means it's mine.
And she kind of Arkin, you see the abbess kind of motion you over. She said she would call you out in a few moments, and she has. As you see gathered before you, 4 individuals. One of them is really short, has a slight green tinge to their skin. Another one is an off-white individual, a very stark whitish hair, almost has a angelic kind of halo kind of glow about them. And then a very common looking individual, but something that really catches your eye is the furry tabaxian, which is a cat that kind of stands upright like a humanoid does.
I hold Pandora's hand like a child.
Yes, and it's 7 foot tall cat. As the abbess kind of waves you out. Arkin, you were here actually doing some studies about the area because you had heard a long time ago that there had been perhaps a lich of some sort that had dwelled in the Verst Glade area of these mountains, and you've been trying to kind of locate that in more details because, well, wherever there's a lich that had once existed, there's bound to be magical tomes and other knowledge, but so far you've been unsuccessful. But within one day, you had come into the guard to do some contemplation on your own, and you had found a young lady who had been, well, you found her what appeared to be dead on the ground with her wheelbarrow of various dirt and other things that she was using to maintain this garden. She had actually seemed like she had either succumbed to the elements or something, but you saw no obvious signs of combat or damage from her body. But the abbess seems to immediately have a bit of a panic and covered her up and told you not to tell anybody of what you found, especially the pilgrims. She didn't want to panic them. And so she's called you out, and she's just now introduced you to a group of individuals who had escorted the pilgrims of the mountains. And she said, if you wouldn't mind, this is prior to them arriving, if you wouldn't mind helping them investigate this, getting them to help you to investigate the cause of her death, she would greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. How can my services benefit you? I must admit I'm not hardy, but knowledgeable.
Indeed. So perhaps your keen mind will help. And so that's when she's called you out to introduce you to the group that had just arrived. A very capable looking group, from what you hear. They actually, from what's the word I'm looking for here? What the pilgrims told you is that they had actually fought off a white dragon of a considerable size. It was a fierce battle, I tell you, and many could have been injured, but because of their skill and their ingenuity, they were able to chase the dragon off and, above all else, acquire its treasure.
I'll look to the group and say, a dragon. I'm impressed. Hopefully you'll be able to keep me alive too. I promise I'll make it worth your effort.
So just to keep it kind of short.
We're impressed with ourselves too, and we're not like being all full of ourselves. It's just kind of wow.
Yeah.
I was sad they wouldn't let me ride the dragon.
You're welcome, Pandora. That would not have ended well.
I've got claws.
I have to agree with, what was your name again?
Oh, excuse me. My name is Blix Bronzefoot.
Yeah, yes, I can't recommend flying on dragons, not without special training. They're not a fan of felines.
Not without watching them.
And this one wasn't a fan of us to begin with.
Well, I was only going to write it like there at the end when she's begging for mercy.
Yeah. You're welcome, Pandora.
While this is
Can I have
going
your
on,
staff?
I'm gonna kind of ignore what's going on and check out the body, see if I can do like an investigation.
Did you just ask if you could have his staff?
Yeah, it's pretty.
All right,
I'll
so
see if like I've seen anything in the past, or if it sparks any kind of anything I've heard about, or anything like that.
investigation. So go ahead and give me an investigation check. Make it you can make it public.
And while he does that, I sniff at Arkin. Like I sniff at his feet and pants legs.
She's a goblin, by the way.
Oh, okay. I'll grab things precious to me and keep them tighter, but
Don't worry, she doesn't bite unless provoked.
So what did we get here?
Or asked.
Okay.
The 14.
Just so you know, Arkin, these others might describe me as grubby looking, but I'm actually quite dashing for a goblin.
oh, I
Very
can,
stylish.
absolutely.
The only time she's grubby looking is when she's put on a disguise to infiltrate other goblins that are obstacles in our way.
Oh, and that one time she fell in shit water.
You're not going to let me forget that, are you?
So that's what she kind of looks like.
Are these the things I can expect on our adventure?
This also is what I look like.
Yes. This
So-
is what I look like.
Anyway, let's get Nick here what he's done. All right, Nick. So what are you actually looking for per se? I know you did an investigation check, but kind of give me some specifics here.
Yes, I want to just kind of inspect the body, see if it sparks anything I've heard about or have seen before, just on my campaigns or anything like that. Or
So you're looking at the body, or looking at the area around the body, or what?
I'm looking at the body itself, just like looking at the eyes, looking at just the skin, just trying to see if there's anything. You said there were no obvious signs of injury, right?
Jesus.
Like there's no like
I'm
blood
looking-
everywhere. She hasn't been
So
stabbed.
let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm gonna read this to you. You don't see any
That's a
marks on
question.
her body. She's pale and looks eerily alive, as if she was sleeping. She's collecting something in one of her hands, a disc of some sort.
Arkin? Sorry, is that how you say your name, Arkin? I know that what's her
Yes, it
name
is.
just introduced you, but I wasn't really listening. I was
She has
bedazzled by your staff.
she has golden hair. She's wearing simple pilgrim's clothing. You do realize that she does seem to have, just by you look at her hands. There's no calluses on her hands, things of that sort. You realize that she definitely doesn't do any kind of physical labor herself.
Arkin,
The
would you
body
show
just-
me exactly where she was lying?
So he does. He says right here. Actually, they haven't moved the body at all.
While Nick searches the body, I'd like to search the ground on the area where she was lying to see if I could determine where that disc came from.
Okay,
I'm
what's in her
going to look
hand
at the
actually?
disc itself.
We're over talking each other. What'd you say, Raphael?
I said I'm going to investigate the disc itself.
Okay, so you pick up the disc. Blix, the disc was in her hand. It wasn't like off to the side or anything of that sort.
What, it just like magicked into her hand?
Well,
Maybe she dug it up somewhere or
No,
something. Maybe-
no. Arkin, I'm going to talk to you, Arkin. But basically, Arkin said when he found the body, the disc was already in the hand.
Right, but does that mean she carried it into the courtyard with her or she found it there? I was looking to see if she found it there.
All right, well, give me an investigation check, please.
This will be comic. My investigation is not. Oh,
Yeah, you're like, it's almost impossible to know. It's like in her hand. Honestly,
I'm pretty certain.
You know,
I'm pretty certain, y'all, that the disc is in her hand. You're welcome.
But as you and Raphael examine the disc, it's a black stone rimmed with purple. y'all can give me a history or religious check if you're trained in it. Only if you're trained in it. The two who are investigating, Raphael or Blix. Religion or history.
I am still absolutely certain that the disc is in her hand.
So Raphael, do you have religion or history that you're trained in?
I have both, and I have a +7 to both, so...
Roll one.
I'm staring amazed at the top of Arkin's staff.
Oh, I'm going to get that arm.
All right. Huh. This disc, as you look at it, and you kind of take it out of her hand, and it kind of cracks her fingers when you come out of her hand. You kind of look at it, and, well, the purple imagery around the edge of it and the darkness of the actual black disc of itself is often referred to as a disc of oblivion.
Do not touch that.
I think it's a bit late. He just pulled it out of her hand.
Yeah, you did. That would be Raphael.
He's wearing the leather glove. We are in our cold weather gear.
So as you look at this, the abbess approaches and she goes, this girl is Lyra, true silver. Her family, unfortunately, will be devastated when they find out the truth that she has passed away here. She was here in secret, actually. She was completing the pilgrimage service to the mother. When she first arrived, no one knew who she was, but I eventually realized this by her demeanor and the words she used and the way she carried herself that she was no commoner. But even my own prayers to my God have not revealed the nature of Lady True Silver's death. And the black disc has me greatly concerned. I don't know why she would have that in her possession. I believe there is an entity here amongst us that threatens us, her, or formerly her in the town.
Maybe we should ask around and see if anyone has seen her around or seen her coming from places. Or...
I take it that revivification was attempted and it didn't succeed.
We've tried within the power of our group to bring her back, but her soul is utterly gone. And she kind of points to the body. She's unnaturally white, almost like I can't explain it. I think her life force was drained. I've heard of such things, creatures known as shade that have done such. I am concerned we may have a shade amongst us.
Raphael, Arkin, what do you know about shades?
Throw him.
I'm going to use my knowledge history for that. Does anybody want to help with that? Assist?
I can assist in history.
Okay. So let's see here. Yeah, so Arkin and Raphael are trained in history. So you're getting assist. So Raphael, that helps you out.
Oh, I did not do that with
advantage. So hold down your Alt key and roll again.
Yep.
Advantage. Or select. There you go.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I'll forgive you at least once. All right, 17. Shades are creatures of darkness, men who gave their soul to a dark deity. They're bound to a shadowy plane of existence, and they're enemies of the Empire for sure. That's all you know about them, though.
What we need is a magical ring that will allow someone to see the shades.
Would I be able to do an Arcana check to see if I can deduce anything more?
Sure.
Can I do finger tutting?
Go ahead and give me an Arcana check, please. Arkin, is that right?
Arkin.
Like
I will assist you on that. I'll give you advantage.
I will warn you ahead of time. I butcher names really bad. All right.
At least it's not ZD.
So
Arkin, I'll give you assistance on that.
Oh, I will re-roll. My apologies.
That's okay.
Of course.
And what are you trying to find out again, Arkin?
If I know maybe any of their weaknesses or magical abilities anything additional.
All right. Well, let me look that up real quick because I'm not familiar with that.
While they're doing that, vis-a-vis Game Master doing some research. Hey, Nick. Maybe you and I try to retrace her steps. See where
Well, I
she's
was
been
thinking,
around here.
like,
Yeah.
ask around and talk to people and see if they've seen her coming from places or.
Yeah, all of this,
And,
knowledge stuff that these two have got, not my forte.
yeah,
I'm more of a
the-
tiny little boots on the big ground kind of girl.
what I can see and touch.
I too like to see and touch.
Yeah.
Go into focus mode and look for the purple triangles.
So, based on your role here, let me go back here real quick. Based on your role here, you know, shades are creatures that depend on darkness, degrees of light to be able to move around. They are very highly susceptible, like ghouls and other creatures, to light and that type and energies that radiate holy presences seems to affect them greatly.
Oh, wow. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
That's what you know, Arkin.
Thank you so much, everybody. I think it's important to know that these things are susceptible to, it appears, I think, radiant damage and scared of light. It may impede them some if there's too much light.
I think we can flush it out. I have the spell Word of Radiance, which does radiant damage.
So the abbess walks up to you and she goes, "So you're going to help us?"
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
I know that this is feeling very urgent to you, but taking on that dragon kind of took a lot out of me, and I suspect many of my companions. Perhaps we could rest a moment before we.
Oh no! We'll set you up for the room tonight, and so you can all rest. I understood that you defended the pilgrims from a great threat. She goes, she like motions and for y'all to cover the body back up, and I presume you do, and then she leads you off to some of the monastic rooms where the staff stays and the monks and the clergy stay, and they're small rooms, very uncomfortable.
These are fantastic. It's like a 5-star resort.
For a goblin, yes. They're hard wooden beds. There's a very small little fireplace to keep some warmth for you and some coal to keep some heat. But overall, it's bare.
Did you look at these rooms? How awesome they are! Look, mine has a little fireplace in it.
And they're like a 4x8 long closet, basically. And there's a little spot where you can do your prayers, and a place where you can sleep, basically, and a place for you to hang up if you were one of the monastic order, a place where you would hang up your robes and your cloak and things. But yeah, that's it. And then on the bed has various bedding that's folded up very neatly and stacked. And you kind of lay it out. And while it doesn't really cushion the wooden surface that much, it's thick enough to keep you warm during night, in conjunction with if you use the burning coal to keep some heat in the room.
Very luxurious. I'm impressed.
This will do nicely. Reminds me of my days in the cloister.
Pretty much.
Same.
She goes,
At least has a roof.
I will wake you in the morning for the morning prayer, she says to all of you. And she goes, have a good night. And she parts.
You too, Agnes. You too.
All right. So, you're off on one of the northern wings of the complex. You find yourself it's kind of quiet, and you can imagine you hear the monastic prayers and chants going off in the main chapel where the High Harvester is laid to rest or is dying. Any of you wish to do anything this evening before you go to bed?
Take out this armor and clean up.
Anything else?
Hey, Arkin, can I touch your staff?
That's not a euphemism.
No, the one with the shiny bit on top, not the one in your pants.
What was your name again?
I'm Pandora. I like shiny things.
So she is the cat person, the standing upright like a humanoid tabaxian, they call him.
I'm very familiar with the tabaxi. A good
Oh,
friend of
really?
mine
He's
used
my
to like
cat.
it. A good friend of mine used to like it when I did this, and I will hold the orb just out of reach above Pandora.
How tall are you?
Well, it's a staff. She can hold it quite high. He can hold it quite high, actually.
I love you so much.
But also allowing her to grab it eventually.
That's too funny.
So you know other tabaxi?
Just
I've only
one.
met one. I've only met one. He was not very nice.
One made its way through the cloisters one evening. We gave them shelter.
It was heading south. Or westwardly, actually. Yeah, westwardly. All right. So no plans. All right. You have all your spells selected for the next day. Anything you need to shuffle around, go ahead.
Oh yeah.
No, I check my weapons just to make sure that any nicks or anything loose in my armor, anything has been tightened and buffed and polished and prettified, sharpened. The usual.
All right. Let's take a
I would
5-minute
ask the group
break.
if we've encountered many spellcasters.
Oh, there you go. Oh, by the way, Kazidi, she actually turned back and left the group and headed back south with a few pilgrims who wanted to leave the trek up north into the mountains. They just lost. They were just disheartened, and she also did not like the idea of the combat and situation she was dealing with. So she went back towards.
It was
Rottendale.
noble of her to escort them. Godspeed, Zeddy.
You find yourselves though here, and what were you asking? If you had dealt with any?
Have y'all encountered, or do you anticipate encountering many spellcasters that you've had?
I try not to anticipate anything.
And have you encountered any spellcasters that you've had to battle?
No, have we?
We've had to fight any spellcasters. We had a companion, but she left with some of the pilgrims and escorted them back to the villages.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think most of the
Yeah, we've had a couple like little things, but nothing like major.
well, there was that shapeshifter.
Yeah. And a couple of shamans and stuff like that, but nothing major magical.
Man, doesn't that feel like a million years ago?
Okay.
Hexa, how do I unprepare a spell in Foundry?
So let's see here. I'm gonna go to your character here. I'm gonna double.
Did you say we were taking a 5-minute break, Hexa?
In a moment.
Okay.
But not before I leave the keyboard. So what spell you want to unprepare? Pandora.
Ensnaring Strike.
Ensnaring Strike. So I'm going to go to your prepared spells. So I'm going to click on that. And you have Ensnaring Strike. I'm going to unlock that. And now let's see here. Always prepared. Huh. Is that a...
Oh, I'm sorry. Aid is the one that I want to undo.
Okay. So aid. So if you right click, so make sure the lock on the upper right hand corner is red.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you right click aid,
Ah.
select the word prepared, and there it goes.
Awesome, thank you.
And then you can go back to your regular. If you click on the word prepared again, it'll show all your spells, and you can. So action, bonus action, reaction, concentration, ritual, prepared. They should all be gray. None of them should be black. And then you can select a spell that's appropriate.
Thank you very much.
All right. 5-minute break.
5-minute break.
All right, 5-minute break. Be right back. All right, Ralph, you have any questions?
I assume that we just went to sleep, took a car around and stuff.
Yeah, so yeah, you're coming around, waking up. It was a cold night,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll wait till others join us. But if you have any questions, I can answer them while we're waiting.
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Can you walk through the changing prepared spells again?
Sure. So if you open up your character sheet
Mhm.
and you go to spells,
Yes.
spell book, anything that's in green is prepared.
Uh-huh.
So let's say absorb elements, for example. If I right click absorb elements, you'll see the word prepared is highlighted.
Uh-huh.
If you select the word prepared, it'll go unprepared and it'll vanish off the prepared list.
Okay.
It'll
Thank
turn
you.
normal, and then you can select another spell and change things.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So some things I suggest as far as like audio goes, have a microphone, but have your speakers going through headsets or something like that. That'll help with feedback and noise issues. Otherwise, try to mute and unmute. Blix, Pandora, y'all ready?
Doesn't seem like they're back yet.
No, not yet. So, Nick, how you been doing?
Doing good. Wasn't too bad today.
No. Yeah, we're trying to get our fudge sales up, so we're doing sample packs of fudge.
Yes. I'll let her know next time we have an order at the work site.
The Tesla?
Yes.
Yeah, please do. That'd be a great opportunity for her to try to get.
Yeah, it's been very spotty over there.
Yeah, I can imagine.
How do you get a talking shirt to be quiet? I'll let you all know when I eat my way to the answer. Nothing. I'm not laughing.
Okay, so we all back now? It looks like we are. Great. So what do y'all want to do at this point? You're woken up the next morning early. It's cold. You hear a small rap on your door saying, "Good morning. It's time to arise. Morning prayers will be starting shortly." And as you hear that, you kind of acknowledge it, but as you breathe out into the room, you can see the frost coming from your mouth as you speak out. You know, the coal fires have burned out during the night, and it's cold and chilly in the room. And you know, it's like I don't want to get out of these warm blankets, but yeah, you
Are we
have.
all in individual rooms?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I want to attend morning prayers and then try to connect with Nick on retracing the dead girl's steps, track down where she was immediately before she died.
Okay. So you're led back to the main chapel. As each of you arise, is there anything special y'all do when you wake up, or you arise, get equipped and armored, and head out, or what?
Mm-hmm.
I get equipped, armored, do any morning prayers I have to do.
Ulrican, anything you do special?
I would have summoned my familiar the night before.
What is your familiar?
It is an owl.
Is it named Hugh?
It is not.
All right. So yes, you do summon an owl, and it sits on your shoulder, kind of like Harry Potter's, you know, off to the side. What color is your owl? Your owl?
He looks a little plain and homely, browns and creams, nothing ostentatious, not even very big.
Oh, I love an understated owl.
You missed a perfect opportunity to pun there.
Like a screech owl?
I'll let you know what it looks like.
God,
I did.
Thankfully, you did. Yes.
I'm ashamed of you, Half.
Never,
the owl
never,
related
never
humor.
am I
Half-
ever
half
gonna
is never
be
ashamed of Half.
ashamed of any puns I make.
All
Is
right.
it like a little burrow owl?
Yes.
All right. So you eventually all assemble in the hallway, and you and many other monks begin making their way towards the main chapel. And it's a weird scene because one, they're still there doing a vigil over the Harvest Father, who was the leader of this particular location or branch or abbey, if you will, of the sect. And more you hear some of the pilgrims giving thanks to Ray, the Everlight, and of course there's a few other ones that are giving thanks to Palor, the Dawn Father. And once again, you know that Ray is not a sanctioned deity of the Empire.
Interesting.
Nick,
I
give
like
me
the name,
a
though.
1 second. I'm sorry. 1 second. So you all kind of file in, take knees at the various locations throughout the place, and the morning prayers begin in unison, and you're giving thanks to Palor, the Dawn Father, and things of that sort. But Nick, something catches you. Look at your passive perception. So go ahead and give me a perception check, if you don't mind. Yeah. There's something you smell. It's a particular odor that it sends slightly above the tinged smell of blood in the chamber. There's a different smell, one you recognize. One of the claret order. One you're familiar with. There's someone here amongst the ranks and file of these pilgrims who knows how to use blood to empower their abilities. And you kind of glance around and about, trying to catch who this might be. What do you do?
Kind of walk along the perimeter of the outside of the little courtyard thing that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of watching the different people, seeing if I get like a read off of anybody.
All
Do a
right.
more active perception.
Go ahead. Yeah, so you're kind of looking about, and you recognize one of the pilgrims who was actually traveling with you.
Is it
And
the same one that I recognized before?
Lilian Kayed. I'll put the name down for you. In chat to help y'all with the spelling of that, because I mispronounce things so bad.
She's the one that did the thing on Dasher.
Hey, Blix, have you taken your long rest yet?
Yes, I have.
There you go. It's
Okay.
in chat. As you kind of look, she kind of looks up at you and nods, and you see her performing a ritual which you recognize as part of the blood hunters rituals when they're giving homage and thanks.
I nod back to her or whatever and keep my distance, let her do her thing.
Be also next to her though, another individual. One second, please. He has all of his hair is grayed out and has a very oily kind of look to it, but it's short. He's got a grayed beard about him. He has very rugged brown tunics and cloaks about him. And you see a rapier off to his side, kind of like you would see like a swashbuckler kind of wielding off to his side. He's got his hand on top of the hilt of that, kind of like in a fist holding the top of it. And another one where he's doing a quick little prayer. And that's when you catch the last second. He pricks his finger and sucks on the blood. And then he kind of nods and opens his eyes, not in your direction. And that's the time you kind of notice her, and then you kind of, I guess you said you break your you with her. So you notice there's two individuals here who are the Order of the Claret. But you don't know who he is. You don't recognize him.
If he is.
The rest of you, what do you wish to do?
I would like to ask somebody about this Ray god that they're praying to.
So you asked one of the individuals who were doing that, and
Mhm.
when you ask, they kind of shy away from you because one, they don't want to know you who you are, and two, they're very nervous about what you are because you're a Tabaxian. It kind of scares them a little bit. What do you wish to do?
I
Do
pass.
you want me to go in and ask for you?
Or just tell them that I'm not scary. I might be 7 feet tall and have razor sharp claws, but I'm not scary.
Yeah, send in the goblin.
Right?
Is that like send in the clowns?
Kinda, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I am a bit of a performer. There
So,
are
Pandora, you're trying to
two
comfort this individual when you
clowns.
ask about Rhea. Go ahead and give me a persuasion.
Would you like it blind?
Nah, no problem.
Oh. I
Yeah.
accidentally cut them with my claw.
It's the razor sharp teeth when you go, no, you can trust me, and you smile. It scares the living shit out of them. And they kind
Or
of
the like cartoon of the monster in the closet that comes out to see the little boy. I'm friendly.
yeah, they kind of fall back onto another of the pilgrims here, trying to get away from you.
Well,
Monsters Inc.
1 second. So as the morning prayers finish up, you notice they're by the harvest father. Some of the practitioners here, some of the priests are doing the old lancet blood bleeding kind of treatments. So they're trying to pull away some of the evil blood from his body. Raph, you want to give me a medicine check, if you don't mind?
Sure. Anybody want to throw in with me on that or not?
You don't want my help with that.
You
Pandy?
said medicine?
You'd be trained in it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Whoa!
double 20.
Fuck yes.
2 20s. Oh my god.
Tell us everything.
Wow. All right.
That was amazing.
That is incredible. Let me go back up here real quick in my notes. You know they're using antiquated methods for healing. You know that magical healing could easily bring him back from his current state. It's very disturbing to you that they're doing such antiquated methods of healing. And why aren't they dipping into the magic realm of the healing arts? Just from your observations, you think that would easily bring him back and probably extend his life by a good 5 to 10 more years. Something's odd here, you think?
Is the abbess busy at the moment, or
Yeah, she's off to the right of you, actually doing some prayers.
Okay.
And she stops, stands up, kind of looks in y'all's direction. What do you do?
I motion, if I can get her attention,
Mhm.
I'd like to speak to her.
Sure. She stands up and walks away from the pilgrims off to the side by some of the columns in the structure. And she goes, "Yes, Raphael, how can I help?"
I noticed that you guys aren't using more modern methods of magic restoration and healing. Is there a particular reason for that?
She goes, he fell ill 10 days ago. So in good health, in his advanced age, his condition has quickly worsened. He hasn't spoken that much. He had always wished to return to the mother's embrace and has forbidden all magical healing upon his body, and as such, his request. Make an insight check, please.
Insight check, sure.
Wow, you're rolling like a mofo tonight. That's pretty good. So, something doesn't quite ring true to her statement. You're not sure what it is, but she's nervous about something. You don't know what it is, though.
Can I use my charisma to schmooze her some?
What do you want to do?
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to act this out. Schmooze.
Schmooze.
Go.
No, you can use the character's charisma, but what are you trying to accomplish?
Well, since I know that there's something not quite right with her answer, I'm going to go and ask if that's, I understand how these things are. People get older and sometimes they just don't want to continue living and they want to, naturally pass away when they have the opportunity to. Is that really all that's going on here, though?
Good schmoozing.
Make a persuasion check to try to get more information out of her.
Oh, okay.
Make it hidden.
Sure. Persuasion. Hidden, blind, normal.
All right. Well, as you're talking to her, back up by the podium where all of you are praying, you see Raphael and the abbess step off to the side and are having a kind of conversation. And you see the monks lancing the digits of the harvester, an elderly man, and collecting his blood in small vials, and they're doing prayers and stuff. It's a very medieval treatment that you yourselves haven't seen. Back over to the harvester and the abbess and Raphael. She goes, I'm greatly bothered by his lack of desire to stay here. It's honestly, it seems like very dishonorable to me to put your own concerns and earthly concerns above the needs of those around us, she says. She points and kind of waves over the pilgrims. Their needs are far greater than ours, for they suffer day in and day out. Then she lowers her head and in a form of respect.
Does he normally exhibit this kind of what you consider selfish behavior?
He has given of himself for many, many years.
Has any of his behavior changed recently, but prior to this accident?
No, she says. And he's just ill. He fell ill shortly after after the young lady was found in the garden.
Wonder if there's a connection.
Perhaps.
May I speak with him, please?
She waves her hand up. You may approach if you like, but I will warn you, he's not very cognizant.
Thank you kindly.
She nods and steps back, takes her hands, kind of puts them in a prayer position, and looks.
Where are the rest of us? Are we with Raphael or?
What, Nick? I'm sorry, I couldn't understand you.
Are we with Raphael or are we like away from?
Well, Raphael and the abbess stepped away from y'all off to the side of the structure to have a conversation in private away from the pilgrims. Because, she does not want to upset the pilgrims. It's one of her main things. She does not want to upset the pilgrims.
Okay. So we just see Raphael approaching the...
You do. You see him talk to her for a few moments, if you're kind of like eyeing that. And, of course, the two individuals you saw with the Claret Order. And you look over, and he's approaching the dais where his body is. The high harvester's body is. And as you look back over the crowd, your two friends are gone. They've absconded.
Here. Okay.
I'm gonna move to the
and head over to the.
So if you're
lady.
over talking to each other, a really cool thing is whoever gets their finger to their nose the quickest can talk first. So, Nick, you're up.
Nod to Blix and head over to talk to the aperture.
Okay.
Follow.
Pandora?
I'm going to move to the back of the room and sit in the corner and study the dark shard amulet that we got from the ice dragon.
Okay. So you all kind of go in different directions. So Nick and Blix, you're going up to where Raphael's going. Did I hear that right?
No, we're going to go talk to the lady, the abbess.
Oh, the abbess. Okay. So you approach the abbess as Nick departs. So you're approaching her, right, when she's kind of, just doing some simple prayers. And she looked at me and she goes, oh, yes, my lords, my ladies, how can I help you? When do you expect to look into the, into the unfortunate, yes, the unfortunate situation.
We were thinking maybe, does she have anyone that she, maybe not friends, she said she kind of kept to herself and she was new to this place?
I'm sorry, Nick, you're breaking up. You need to get closer to your mic or something. I'm sorry.
You said that she was new and she didn't have a lot of friends, or was there someone that she spent time with? She
showed up under the pretense of being a commoner, but I soon realized she was not a mere commoner, and we actually gave her a nicer chamber to stay in than the regular pilgrims. She is of noble birth, I will tell you that. As I mentioned earlier.
Inspection, I could tell.
I can show you her chambers if you think that would help in your investigation.
Yes, let's look at that.
Indeed. We'll wait for your friends to finish. Your friend Raphael is actually going up to the altar, or to the dais.
Yeah, but I was also curious too if she spent time with anyone here that we could talk to.
She spent time with someone else, you said, or?
We're looking for if she had friends or someone that she spent time with.
She did not. She seemed to be mostly involved with her own self and her studies here. Let me check my notes real quick.
Also, while we're talking to her, I kind of want to keep an eye out for anyone that's watching us.
Sure. She goes, Lara was a very devout young lady, but did not have a knack for the husbandry and the gardens. She spent most of her time in the village itself, actually.
Okay.
I can tell you when she arrived, she only gave her first name, but once we discovered she was a daughter of a great house, of course we made accommodations.
So she spent most of her time in the village?
She did. She actually had a great skill of dealing with the locals.
Okay. May have to go talk to them and see what's going on with them. I also said I wanted to keep an eye out for anybody that's watching us, talking to.
Yeah. So give me a secret or a hidden perception check, please. Arkan, is there anything you wish to do during this time? Arkan, is there anything you wish to do at this time? Yeah, so as you look about, Nick, your two friends left and departed, or of those of the same ilk, seem to have departed.
Hello.
Yes.
I was just going to be checking out to see if anyone noticed that we were awkward in the room while Pandora inspected her gadgets.
Okay. A few of the pilgrims kind of look at y'all because, one, you're wearing much better clothing and equipment than they have. Obviously, you're sell swords of some sort or hired swords, just through your nature, and because the abbess keeps talking to each of you one at a time, giving you her attention, that you also stand out because of that.
Thank you.
Okay. Raphael, you make your way up to the dais where the high harvester is being preyed upon. What are you looking for, sir?
Yes, Saba. Thank you, darling. I was thinking that I could use a feature of mine, but it doesn't look like that. I understood what it was, but I'm still here. I'm gonna talk to him if possible. I understand that he's not very lucid, but I'm gonna try anyway.
What are you gonna do? What powers are you using for this?
Oh, that would be sneaky. So I'm going to, that's a good idea. I'm going to hold his hand.
I like where you're going.
And I'm going to use, the fact that his subconscious is still kind of paying attention. And I will notice whether his body responds to my talking. Like some things he'll squeeze my hand for, and other things he won't, sometimes unconsciously.
Okay, so you approach some of the pilgrims and other monks and as such move aside, and you grab his hand. His fingers, you can see as you pick his hand up in a kind of a careful, gentle way, because you know you are a cleric, and you kind of turn his hand. You look at you turn his hand over and you look at it, and you can see where they've lanced over time his various fingers, and have tried to draw the blood out and such. His hands are cold to the touch, and you can tell that he is definitely on his deathbed. You kind of wrap your hands around his in a kind of warm, gentle, caring kind of way. And while he is definitely not of his senses, he seems to have a bit of a moment of cognizance about himself as one of his eyes kind of open up a little bit, and he kind of, between his cracked, chapped, extremely chapped lips and his swollen, dehydrated tongue, he's kind of like, but you can't make out what he's saying exactly. So he looks at you, and then his eyes close again, and he seems to deflate just a little bit.
I'm going to be really sneaky here.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to use Healing Hands and restore him 1 hit point.
So, is there verbal components to this?
No, as far as I know, it's not. I'll look it up right quick, though. I don't believe there is.
Is that a feature or a spell?
Yeah, it's a built-in feature of the cleric class, or my cleric class, anyway. Let's see. Healing Hands. Once per long rest as an action, touch a creature and restore 5 hit points. Okay. So I could restore 5 hit points.
But should you?
That's why I was going 1.
All right. Make a deception check, please.
Okay.
All right. So you begin to focus on your energies, and the abbess surprisingly touches you by the shoulder, and she goes, "He does not wish such magics to be used, Raphael," and interrupts your process. Please respect his wishes, she says.
I ask him if this is really what he wants.
So you can, is this what you really want? And do you lean up closer to him, or what do you do?
Right. I ask him if he really doesn't want his life to be saved by magic in this moment.
All right. And you just kind of announce that out loudly, or how are you approaching this? I'm trying to get some flavor here.
I'm asking him very close, like, I'm not like right up on his face, but I'm whispering to him, where just he and I can hopefully hear, not too many around us.
Okay. So you kind of lean forward, and the abbess doesn't interrupt that, but she has her hand on your shoulder blade right here, kind of like holding you a little bit. And as you lean forward, her grip is a little tighter and a little tighter the closer you get, and you're kind of pulling against her just a tad bit, but it's not overly aggressive. It's just like concerned. You're not sure exactly, but and you ask him, "Is this what you really want?" And his eyes kind of open a little bit, and you can see all the caked goop around his eyes that they keep cleaning them, but it's just his condition. And again, in a very mumbled phrase, he's like, it's undecipherable. You can't make it out what he's saying exactly.
Do I feel anything though in his hand?
A very weak grasp of your hands.
Should I roll to perceive that as a positive, or can I interpret that as he wants to continue his life with the aid of magic?
You can make an insight check.
Okay.
You can make it public.
All right. Oh, damn!
I want your dice.
Unfortunately, he is so addle-minded and rattled by his current health condition. It is near impossible to make a discernible decision based on his reply. He is suffering for sure. What the disease is, you don't know, but there's lots of little jars and poultices all about him that they're administering to him and things of that sort. The rituals that they're using, you're not familiar with, but you know that they're old world rituals that had once been used before. But let me see here real quick.
Forkin.
Could I maybe approach Raphael and offer my expertise in Arcana to the situation?
Sure.
Like this wizard guy, he's going to be useful.
Uh-huh.
Would that just be a straight roll?
So what are you trying to accomplish here? You're trying to give him aid or just...
So I would like to, I guess, see if there's anything magical that his religion checks weren't picking up on. Maybe there's something.
Okay, make an Arcana check, please.
I'll assist you with that.
Are you trained in it?
What qualifies as trained in it? Because I do have a check in it.
Then you're trained.
All right.
Advantage.
Yeah. No, it's a very unmagical process they're doing here. There is no magics, but it is a barbaric, ancient process of trying to heal somebody. It's like leeching, right? We leech some people to death here, in 1900s, I guess. I don't know. It's very similar.
So it couldn't be countered.
It could be countered with healing, with a significant amount of healing, but there's no magical, influence over him. You think from your observations, but he does appear ill and sick.
I'm afraid I know nothing more than you.
Good try, though.
And the abbess says,
Effort.
let's proceed to the gardens to try to find out. Perhaps the culprit of her unfortunate demise is related, she says to you. And you feel her hand kind of pulling you away a little bit, Raphael, and encouraging you to go towards the garden. Not in a bad way.
Light, Carol Ann.
Like a mom would subtly, try to get her child to move on away from the candies to the carrots or celery.
I would like to follow along and wave my staff the way I did with Pandora earlier, hoping that she'll pick it up as a signal to follow.
All right. So, do you allow her to begin escorting you as individuals or as a group to the patio, to the garden? Pandora, what do you do?
I follow the shiny.
All right.
Thought that might work.
All right. So what do y'all want to do? You arrive back in the garden. The body's still there, covered up.
Who else is with us?
Just the abbess?
Just the abbess, yeah. They seem to have the gardens quarantined off from the pilgrims. They won't let them out here.
Okay.
Again, she
I
goes,
tell the rest of the group what me and Blix had found out, that she really didn't have any friends here. She stayed in her room, and she visited the village.
The abbess did
And I wanna
offer
kinda-
you to go visit the room if you want to visit the room.
Yeah.
I do want to visit the room.
Yeah, I think we should visit the rooms first and then head out to the village. Maybe the abbess could tell us who she saw there, if she knows. She
Yeah,
said
it's
she
always
had,
best.
positive dealings with them.
I agree. It's always best to go in with as much information as possible.
That's a wizard for you.
All right. So you're going to go to the room first, or
Yes, unless
Room
the abbess can
first.
tell us who in the village she saw.
yeah, she can. As she escorts you towards the room, she goes, "See, she would often visit Sybil's Curiosities.
Ooh.
And she had always enjoyed the Mother's Bounty, which was a tavern here in town. It was due to her calm and patient ways. She actually brought many into the light of the Palar's way.
Good information.
Well, let's maybe inspect her room,
Yeah, check out
and
this
then we
room.
could maybe either go together or split up to canvass the curiosity shop and the tavern.
Yeah, after we check the rooms.
All right.
Sounds good.
So unlike the other individuals in your rooms alike, there were no doors on y'all's rooms, but the Spar apartment here, unlike the others, has a door that locks and closes.
Wow, I thought my room was fancy, but check this out.
All right, the small apartment is not what you would expect, of course, for a noble birth person, but in every way is humble accommodations of a simple pilgrim, except the doors close and lock. In one corner of the cramped space is an unmade bed, tilted at an odd angle from the wall. Across from the bed is a writing desk smudged with ink and a dusting of sand for drying letters. In one corner is a tiny closet. The abbess stands by the door, outside the door, and says, "Please, please take your time. I'll wait out here. These rooms are very small, of course."
I inspect the bed.
All right. Go
I
ahead.
asked the group if I could maybe interject before we start.
Of course.
Sorry, Blix. Thank you. I
Yeah.
could do a ritual casting of detect magic while y'all do your inspections. It'll take 10 minutes.
Definitely.
Are we willing to spend that time here?
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
Then I'll start a ritual casting of detect magic.
Okay, you begin
And
that
then
process.
I inspect the bed.
All right, so type in chat what each of you are doing. There's the desk, there's the closet, there's the bed, and the general room. Who's going in? Who's staying out?
I'll do the general room. I guess I need to write that in, don't I?
That's what she has said.
Felix, you're doing the bed? Right?
She's writing a novel.
Okay. All right. All right, so let's see what we have here now. Let's start with the bed. And the bed is unmade and looks uncomfortable as hell. It's tilted at an odd angle to the wall. Go ahead and give me an investigation check to search. All right.
Looks comfortable.
Somewhat.
You see a pair of sandals underneath the bed, and some other just miscellaneous clothing, packs of clothing down here. You kind of pull the basic sheets back. You can tell that she has slept here some. The writing desk. Who's looking at the desk? That would be
Me.
okay. Give me a insight check, please. Make it private.
Oh, I already clicked. I
I keep waiting for y'all to pick up on the fact that Blix sucks at investigation and maybe shouldn't be allowed to do this shit.
All right.
Because Blix is not going to stop herself.
So you walk over to the writing desk, Pandora, and it has smudges of inks and a dusting of sand that is used to dry the inks. Is otherwise bare, and there are no drawers on the desk. The desk doesn't. Although the desk does seem to have been used quite often, you don't see ink, paper, quills, or other items needed for writing. It's barren of that sort. There, based on what you're seeing here, there should be some writing instruments, but you don't see any here. And who's looking at the closet here? We have Nick. Okay. Give me a investigation check, Nick, please. Private.
Yep.
The closet is bare with 2 hooks for hanging robes on the back wall of it, and a hole where a 3rd hook used to be. On the floor underneath the missing hook, the bottom of the closet is dented. In the corner is a small bucket.
All right. So not much there. I tried to look at Blix and see what she's doing.
I found a bed.
Turn to the rest of everybody and ask, where's her stuff?
As you're doing that,
I've got some clothes over here. I don't know why they're not in the closet.
well, the clothing is basic stuff, right? And like, why is it in the closet? As you look at the clothing, you reckon this is more formal clothing. It's like clothing you would arrive in, but not wear as a pilgrim. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Traveling clothes.
About this time, Auric, your spell ignites and goes off, and there is a glow under the bed, or like within the bed frame itself, that it seems that Blix may have missed. There's something there that draws your attention.
I'll
Found a magic bed.
It's small. It's maybe a couple.
Definitely want to check that out.
It's like oblong, maybe the size of a regular keyboard or something. It's quite hard.
Wait, she said magic bed.
He hasn't said. Seriously, he hasn't said a word to y'all yet. What do you do?
So, noticing this oblong, thinking it might have been a bean at first, but knowing it's a little too big for that, I'll communicate back to the group. There's something in this bed that's got a magical aura. Do I know what school of magic it is?
Well, it's me.
Wow. Oh, there's something more magical than you. Maybe not more, but differently magical.
Oh, my bad. I thought it was me.
Yeah. So
do I know the school?
I'm looking it up right now because players.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. But I need to know if it's magic, what kind of magic it is, where did it come from. Yeah, let me look.
Annoying wizard crap.
Could be worse. Could be annoying druid crap.
Items.
Okay, last week it was annoying cat crap.
Where is that?
Yes, much like you, Percy.
Hi, baby girl.
I'll just announce to the group not to touch it yet. I'm still studying and leave it be for the moment.
I freeze where I'm at and touch nothing further. I look very scared.
Yeah, it's an enchantment. It's been enchanted some way.
So whatever this is has been enchanted.
Ooh, I like magic beds.
I drop to all fours and look under the bed.
This is just getting better and better.
I ignore the stack of quarters on the bedside table.
Yeah, it's enchantment. So Arkan tells you that this. So who does what? All of you are like piling onto the bed at one time, or what?
No, I drop onto all fours and crouch down on the floor to peer under the bed.
All right, and your tail kind of goes up in the air, goes back and forth as you're investigating. And you're looking underneath the bed.
I had been kind of climbing on the bed because I'm little and I was investigating, but I just freeze where I'm at and I don't touch anything else.
Right. And so below you is a cat looking underneath the bed. All right.
A giant cat, no less.
My pet giant cat.
I'm just medium-sized, guys.
So Pandora, give me a perception or wisdom check, if you will.
God help us if it's shiny.
It's a shiny bed.
I couldn't hear you. What?
Said if it's shiny, I'm touching that fucker.
All right. So what do we get here? All right. You see what appears to be some kind of compartment, but Arkan has to kind of guide you to where it is based on the magical aura. You're having a hard time finding it, but without his help, you would have still had a problem finding it. It's cleverly hidden. And you open it up, and the compartment opens up. Under this loose plank is a compartment containing a writing kit and some correspondence. Various letters and a dagger hidden within it. The dagger is what's glowing with magic arcane energies.
I'd pull everything out of the hole and put it on the desk.
All right. You notice the abbess is kind of watching this with a raised eyebrow as you pull this out. So you put all this on the desk, and there's all the writing equipment that would be needed to write the letters and such.
I would ask the group if they would mind if I started casting a ritual identify while they do their thing on that dagger.
Well,
It'll
that
take
seems
us
like
about
a
10
very-
minutes.
That seems like a very good idea.
All right.
I will start a ritual casting of identify.
Sure. So
While he's doing that, I want to look through the papers.
you begin looking at the papers. So Arkan, you kind of take the dagger to the side, and you clean it up, and get all the dirt and grime from it as part of the process of trying to identify. You begin casting the spell. The material components for identify are what?
An owl and a 100 GP pearl. I will deduct that gold.
All right.
An owl feather, not an owl. Sorry.
You're familiar.
Wow.
Your poor
I
like,
will.
as you pull the feather out of it.
I will look at Owl, whose name is Owl, and I'll give him a little pet, and I'll give him the look that he knows. He knows what it means.
Y'all
And
notice this owl is actually very Spartan when it comes to feathers.
and he just like pushes out one little leg as if I'm giving me permission to pluck it, and I do.
He doesn't complain. A little wince, but he doesn't complain too much. And you begin casting the spell. Does the pearl get consumed with these casting, or does it stay with you?
I'm not certain. I'll have to look that up.
I think it stays. I don't think it gets consumed, but you can find that out. All right.
Oh, okay.
So you begin casting the spell ritualistically over the dagger. And who is at the desk looking at the writing materials? Is that Nick?
I am.
Nick, okay.
I'm staring at the shiny dagger.
Yeah, you are.
All right, so Nick, you can make an investigation check. Is somebody going to assist, or is it just straight Nick?
I can use an assist.
I'll give an assistance.
Are you trained in investigation?
I believe so. Let me double check. No, I am not. There's no check.
Yeah.
Or do you have the cantrip guidance?
Yes. Do you have the
Do you
cantrip
have the
guidance?
cantrip guidance?
You can do that. Look at
I
that.
can do that.
Heck yeah, wizard.
Holy shit.
Awesome.
All right. So advantage.
So you can cast one living creature one before the spell ends. The target can roll a d4 and add to you the number you roll. So you don't get advantage, but you get a d4 added. So it's 1d20 plus d4 plus your modifier for your ability. So it's just roll investigation and add 1d4 to it, basically. There we
Like
go.
that.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. All right. So it looks like Lyra was corresponding with a close family member. And she had met someone that here at the Abbey that she was in love with. She was preoccupied and concerned that her father would disapprove of the relationship due to the nature of her lover. And nature, in one of the letters, was highlighted. She didn't care and believed that Rai, the goddess of the harvest, had blessed their union. Amongst the letters, you find a response that someone had written back to her, and it says, "I do believe Father led soldiers in a war against many evil entities, some of them being shades. He knew their depraved and violent nature. He would never approve of such a match, my love. I do beg of you, drop this relationship."
The homegirl was in love with a shade.
It's like it.
Sorry, whoever read that, did you share that with the group?
That would be Nick.
I did not with the abbesses there.
Okay.
Do you pass around the note?
Not yet. The notes
Arican,
say-
hang on one second. Arican, the
Yes.
inkwell, the quill, and the parchment paper is of exceptional quality. The quality is so good that you could actually use it as part of your spells and scribing of scrolls and stuff.
Oh, I'm glad I noticed. I intended to ask after I was done casting.
Yeah. All right. So you finish your spell, and this is a finely crafted silver dagger of +1.
You'll never get it off of Pandora now.
I will keep that information to myself
All right.
and let the group know. I'm not certain what this is, but I think it might be a clue. I think we should hold on to it.
I put it in my backpack. That's where I keep all our other stuff.
I look at Pandora and say, I'll keep it for safe holding for this moment.
Oh, showdown.
Oh, in the squinty eye. The squinty eye.
Pandora, it's okay. It's okay. He's going to stay with us. The shiny is staying with us. Oh, no. Oh, no.
As I say that, I'll also lift my staff orb and try to play with her and see if it works.
Nope.
No.
Not
All
the
right.
shiniest thing in the room.
In that case, I'll stow away the dagger, go up to her, go in for a scritch behind the ears, and see if she approves.
I gently growl.
Oh.
Then my body loosens up. And I start purring.
There we go.
Does she describe her lover at all in the letters?
No, she. It's chopped up. Obviously, this correspondence coming and going, and the correspondence she was just writing out to send out was, of course, like, well, I don't care what Father may think. I think our union is blessed. And the letter that was sent back was, I don't think Father would approve because of his prior war and
Okay.
fighting he'd done with the Shades. So.
Okay.
So the abbess says, I just want to stress that you please keep her death a secret until we find out the cause and what have you found so far, she says.
I found a bed.
I tell her it's just some correspondence with her family.
She pats the goblin on the head. What of her liaisons, if you will?
It's just her talking to a family member.
And her relationship here?
Did she
Say
have
again?
a relationship?
I think she had someone she was seeing she kind of looks back nervously down the hallway. She goes, I think she was seeing a dark creature, for lack of a better term, a shade.
You didn't think to mention that earlier?
Well, she's a noble of birth. I didn't want to besmirch her name and her family. I'm sure you understand.
Goblin, no, I don't understand. But I'll take your word for it. I'm easygoing. That's fine.
Do you know who this lover might be?
I do not know. It's just she would go to the town, and I presume somewhere there she would have met with them.
Okay. Sounds like
Well,
we need to
then
go to town.
Yeah, I think that's where we're headed next. Scooby and the gang.
Okay. Anything else before you leave the room?
I take the sandals.
I'll grab the ink and paper when the abbess has already left.
All
I
right.
reach out and grab the ink bottle quick before he gets it.
I'll let her grab it and just grab the paper.
He's
Okay.
allowing it, Pandora.
Trade you for the dagger.
We'll see.
He's like, ink is cheap.
Paper that's expensive.
All right. Let's take a quick 5-minute break, and we'll pick up from there.
5.
Thunderdome.
but I'll vote.
We're going live. Okay. What are we talking
it-
about?
Reference to
It's a callback to the onesie
Jeff
that we did.
Oh, is he wearing a
And-
onesie? Oh,
And Nick
sexy,
was in a
sexy.
onesie. He was hot, and he had it open, and he was all laid out. There you go.
Na-na-na-na.
Get it. Get it.
Na-na-na-na-na.
Yes.
Na-na-na-na-na. Na-na-na.
But where's your pole dancing routine there, Nick? Come on.
I do not have a pole dance. Or a pole.
That's not Jeff Goldblumey.
I do have a St. Andrew's cross.
There you go.
Okay.
That is definitely Jeff Goldblumey.
As long as it's not Marilyn Manson.
Indeed. Okay, where do we leave off at? You were about to decide to do what, folks? The abbess has gently escorted you away from her room and sealed the door again. And she goes, "What would you like to do?"
We're gonna go.
Do we want to split up, or do we want to go together?
I think we should stick together, but I want to go to Sybil's Curiosities first.
That's where I want to go too.
Okay.
Maybe I can get a cloak.
I would
With
be
a sword
curious to
pocket.
know what they have.
Not a sword pocket, you know.
The rapier pocket?
Okay. What?
But they might have shinies.
That's what I'm hoping.
Okay. So you make your way
Thank
in.
you.
You make
Thank
your way
you.
into the town. All the buildings. Some of the. It's a hodgepodge, if you will. There's many structures that are built of sturdy old wood. That was pine that grows in the mountains here at the lower altitudes. They're sturdy structures with low ceilings but high pitched roofs, so the snow slides off. But even with that, there's still snow gathered along the rooftops. Piles of snow drifts along the edges of the buildings. Locals have cleared the road here and there, but there is definite paths that they meander in between the buildings here. Low light illuminates the area between the buildings. Some places have torches and others don't. And you kind of make your way in.
Could I pause us before we go in?
Yes.
Thank you. I would like to, before we go into the shop, speak to the group and pull out the dagger and say, actually, this is a +1 silver dagger. I'm no combatant.
I'm a rogue. I love daggers. I'm a rogue and I need a dagger.
Daggers!
I'll give you my bell.
Okay.
You
well,
have claws. You don't need a dagger.
Okay, but silver affects certain things. I think we should split our silver between the party. What do y'all think?
I could use silver.
You have a silver rapier.
You didn't have to say that.
Mentioned it earlier.
That was metagaming.
It was metagaming, sorry.
I tried to, without taking it out of his hands, I tried to, maneuver Arkin's staff to distract Pandora.
Furry Mommy and Goblin Mommy are fighting.
I pull out the bottle of ink that I swiped
Cat
earlier.
fight. It's cat and goblin fight.
I'm gonna stark my staff down and cast shield, which is nothing but a visual effect in this scenario. And hopefully it will scare them and just get them both to step back.
All right.
And then I will ask Nick and Raphael, who do you think should carry this for the group?
Well, for the silver properties alone, Pandora should have it. That way we have 2 combatants with silver. Just in case.
Blast your fairness.
Raphael?
Also, being completely honest and blunt about this, no matter what, Pandora's going to end up with it anyway.
Well,
I concede your point, Raphael.
So let's avoid the drama and just give it
Pandora,
Yes.
your
do you have
bottle of
anything
Athos
shiny that you in your
is
pack that I could have?
Oh, an exchange. Okay, interesting.
I have this bottle of ink.
Do you have anything shiny in your pack that I could have?
ooh, I really wanted that bottle of ink. I hope she doesn't get rid of it.
Oh, Arkin, I hope you stay with this party a long time.
I have this shiny crowbar.
Do you have anything shiny in your pack that I could have?
The crowbar is shiny.
It is not shiny.
Not shiny enough.
You're carrying all the shinies. Share the shinies.
Ooh, I have a mirror.
I am not a cat. I am a goblin.
I'm gonna hand the dagger to Pandora and then just walk into the shop.
Right.
I'm gonna give Blix one of the Jasper gemstones that we have.
Yes! I'll take it. Thank you.
Be sure to update your
welcome.
D&D Beyond character sheets. And
I am way ahead of you, sir. I'm doing that
Arkin, you
now.
need to take the +1 dagger out of your D&D Beyond character sheet inventory.
Thank you, Pandora.
I technically only wrote it down on paper. Sorry.
I actually added it during the break to your character sheet.
Oh, thank you.
It's an ideal weapon for close combat for mages.
Yeah. Well, but yes, and I think I'm going a different direction.
I'm messing with you, actually. All right.
Can I loot it from him?
And thank you, because I appreciate getting a magic item for early on.
Right. All right. So you hand off the dagger, kind of like it's like some kind of poisonous thing. Quickly pull your hand away as Pandora snatches at it, and Blix and Pandora are fighting over it. But
I toss him the bottle of ink.
Okay. And you catch a bottle of ink on your way into the shop. It's a low slung building, so you have to kind of duck down a little bit. I'm not sure what is your height, Arkin? How tall are you?
I am. Oh crap! I changed.
You know what? I
think
never actually asked you to describe your character to everybody. How about you give us a quick description?
So Arkin is he's only 25. He's very slight. He's like 5'8". He's not tiny, but he's not tall. And just he looks a little frail. He looks like he might break, but also looks like he's been through some stuff.
Is he an elf, half elf, human, hybrid? What is he?
He's a human. Generally, he appears with a very pale complexion, pink hues tied to it, dark, long hair, just past the shoulders. You'll notice he pulls it up when he casts fire magic, which he usually avoids.
He grabs his hair and holds it like this when he's casting fire magic, you're saying?
She puts it up in a pony.
All right, there you go. All right.
With a little bit of string,
There you go. All right. So you make your way in as they're all, debating who should get what. The inside of this establishment, well, basically it's basically a junk shop. It's cluttered with shelves of sagging items of junk and odds and ends that obviously whoever the purveyor is has collected. A small hand-painted sign is propped up on the proprietor's desk. All items, 5 gold piece. All sales are final, it says in big letters. It is freezing cold, absolutely cold inside this establishment. Your breath, like outside, just vaporizes into the air, gives you that mist of foggish kind of look as you're breathing. Off in the back of the establishment, by all the shelves that are behind the desk that you can't get to, there's a small stove providing a scant amount of heat. The store is lit only by the stove and a few candles scattered about. It is dark, grim, dirty, cluttered, and full of odds and ends. A middle-aged woman with a lined face, wearing several layers of warm clothing, scowls at you when you enter. Are you going to be buying anything? She asks you in kind of a gruff kind of voice.
I would like to step back and maybe kind of hide myself a little bit. Would that maybe take a stealth check?
What are you doing? Come in. I'm not going to bite, but you can at least buy something if you're going to open the door and let my heat out. She says
What
to
is
you.
the shiniest thing that you have?
Well, you're outside still arguing, Pandora. You have to wait.
Yeah, we're still outside.
Debating
done
the
arguing.
dagger. Do you still try to hide and back out or what?
Oh, it's just me. I'm sorry. I thought the whole group was in.
No,
I
just you.
lost
You,
track.
you
No,
said
no,
you.
you remember you left us arguing and went inside.
I
That's
did
on
leave
you.
So I'll go to her and I'll ask, what are the curiosities you have to purvey? Are you having a sale? I noticed.
So she's kind of hunched over. The old lady kind of look. Her hair is wiry mess. She has like a ponytail put up. It doesn't really help. She's got a lined, wrinkled face. And she's all bundled up in a jacket that kind of like swells up over her shoulders. And her head kind of sticks out, kind of like a turtle's kind of head out of its shell. You know, she's trying to stay warm.
Uh-huh.
She goes, sales right there. She points to the sign, 5 gold piece, all items. Find what you want and let me know.
I'll ask if she's opposed to me casting a spell in her store.
Why? She asks you.
Oh, just to see if I get any tinglings of anything I might love.
Fine. Go ahead. As the game master pulls up a random store generator. Give me a second.
No worries. I'll do a ritual casting. Before I start casting, I'll go to my friends and say, "Hey, come in. I'm about to find out if there's anything good in here."
All right, we go inside, kind of look around.
And I'll start casting in the corner.
He says mostly just odds and
It
ends
would
and
be
stuff.
really nice if there was a wand of healing in here. Hint, hint, hint.
Or an oath bow.
So you cast your spell. Y'all see as you're all arguing outside, or at least the two of you are arguing about who has that, but you see your new companion, Arkin begin casting a spell in a ritualistic manner and looking into the chamber. You hear an old gruff, sour puss kind of a voice coming from the inside. And what did you say to Nick? What do you do, Nick? What exactly happened? Nick, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go inside and just kind of look around and see. He says it's mostly just odds and ends and stuff.
It is. It's a knick-knack kind of shop. Knick-knack, paddywhack, whatever that song is. You know, all kinds of stuff. Most of it is of no value at all. It would take hours to sort through all of this. What's the... how does detect magic work? Is it you have to have an item in front of you, or is it like a broad
So
spectrum?
detect magic is a 30-foot radius.
Yes.
Concentration up to 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And it moves with me if I move.
Okay.
It can detect that if an item is magic and what school of magic, but it does not identify.
All right. So you begin maneuvering through the store. Of course, you asked for permission to cast, and you did. You see a few little glints of magic here and throughout the shop. You see off of one shelf amongst a bunch of parchment. Most of the parchment is ruined or been wet or has rats or bookworms have eaten holes through it. But there's one scroll. It's in pretty good condition. It's some kind of arcane scroll, and it has some spells. Perhaps you kind of pull it out and look at it. Yeah, you think it has some possible spells on it.
Okay. Anything else? I'll grab that and kind of keep it kind of under my arm as if I'm going to purchase it, not
Right.
hiding it. Just...
Sure. You keep kind of meandering around, and you find what appears. I forget the word, but in the Jewish faith, they roll their scrolls up into containers. They have a word for those containers. What are they called?
Oh. I don't know, but I know what you're talking
It's
about.
a scroll case, basically.
It's a good image.
Yeah, it's a scroll case, extremely intricate. But this one's been beat up.
Mezuzah.
Thank you. It's been beat up and dented and rusted and banged up. It's in horrible condition, but the contents inside of it have some type of divine scroll in it.
I'll grab that as well and kind of put it under my arm.
All right, give me a investigation check real quick.
Do. Sorry, I'm still learning the.
You're fine. Take your time.
There we go. Would anyone care to assist me on this?
On investigation?
If they're trained, they can.
Am I able to ask for that?
Some of us are still outside
Yeah. So the only person inside is Nick. Nick, are you trained?
being offered a crowbar.
Because Raphael did not say he was coming in. So Nick.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed the opportunity to say that. So I came in too.
All right. So you're making your way in towards behind Nick. Nick, you see your Arkin kind of moving around, looking at stuff, and like he holds it up, kind of looks at you, kind of points. It's like, what do you think? And are you trained in investigation?
I am.
Do you both look at it and assist him, basically?
Yes.
All right, there you go. Yeah. So you're investigating the divine scrolls that you're finding?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's some type of divine scroll, definitely. A little bit of movement, you can open it up. It's easily worth 25 gold, you think?
Okay. And can I ask an out-of-game question?
Yeah, go ahead. Just ask away.
Nick, can you remind me what your class and race is?
I am a human. I'm actually been infected with lycanthropy, so I turn into a werewolf from time to time.
Okay.
Not a friend of silver weapons.
I probably don't know that yet.
No,
Okay.
you don't.
Yet. This is all out of the game.
Yeah.
But since we haven't described ourselves or anything, I'm in my 40s or so. I look like I've been through a lot of battle. I'm definitely a fighter soldier type.
Okay.
And as you can see my little picture, I've got like the white hair and pale eyes.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, what else? So you continue looking around?
I'm gonna look around, see if I can find like any like little like carvings, like little something I can keep in like a pocket, like little figurine.
You do. You find a whole shelf of just various figurines of different deities and other creatures and things of that sort. So it's a plethora of them. Is there a particular type you're looking for, or?
I'm looking for a wolf.
Oh, easy. You find many depictions of wolves, even a few that are of a more feral lycanthrope type stance.
Cool. I'll pick one of those out.
All right. You find another item here that seems to have. She has like a shelf of mostly empty or dried up. Stoppered flask, not flask. What's the word? More potion bottles. What are they called?
Vials.
Thank you. Oh my God, my language. Yeah, you find various stoppered vials of what once had been potions. Many of them have a very subtle, faint but gone, no longer useful glow to them. The stoppers have been damaged. The cork has cracked and they've evaporated. But you do find one amongst them that has just a little bit of fluid at the bottom that's still remaining. That seems to radiate some type of magic. You're sure that you could possibly rehydrate and reconstitute what's left in this vial.
Am I the one that saw that? I apologize.
You did. Yeah, you're the only one that has the magic going on.
Yeah, I'll grab that.
But that is well worth 300 gold pieces. You know that just from your knowledge. Yep. It has.
I'll grab that.
It's a fuming indigo admixture about it, and it kind of swirls around the inside of it. The bottle itself, the vial, has a slight warm touch to it. And that's kind of all you see here that catches your eye. The rest of it is junk or just miscellaneous stuff.
Are we inside yet?
Yes, all of you finally made it inside. Close the door! You're letting the heat out. Unless you're going to buy me some more coal to keep my place warm, close the darn door, she says to all of you.
I'm going to flip a silver at her.
Thank you, my lord. Now, those things you've picked up throughout my shop, and she looks at you, Nick, also when she says that. Do you wish to buy them?
Do.
I'd like to have these, and I'll cover the wolf thing too.
What was the name of the lady that died?
Lyra.
All right. So while he's paying for those, I kind of mentioned that our friend Lyra suggested us to come check out this shop to the shopkeeper.
I'm gonna post in chat what you found. Give me 1 second.
I'm going to pray to Ewan right quick to guide me to something worthy of, something useful for me.
All right, so those are the items you found. She may or may not know the value of those items. It's up to you to haggle. Now, no, sorry, Nick. What were you saying? I'm sorry, I had to focus on some of the stuff.
No problem. I want to tell her as he's purchasing the items and they're working back and forth, perhaps to distract her from the haggling. But that our friend Lyra had recommended us come and check out this place. See if I get a recognition, if she knows who she is.
She was, aha! I've been wondering when someone would come back for the high-nosed girl. If you're here to take her back home, y'all earn your coin. You know it for sure. She won't go quiet like you. No, she spoke nothing but ill of her folk.
So she's had some problems around here?
No, she was quite welcome here, but she never bought a darn thing from me.
Oh.
The girl had been here a time or three before, perhaps a dozen or so. Always looking, never buying. That's a high nose for you. She just asked me if I was a fellow worshiper of Raya. Disappointed her, I think. I think I disappointed her.
Did she ever come with friends? Did they buy anything?
No, she never did. But there was a bit of juicy gossip about her and some lover. She got herself in a tiff with a lover, I understand.
Ooh.
I put a gold piece on the counter and asked her for more information about the... So tell me more about what you heard about her lover.
You'll not surprise me with that kind of question, but there may have been talk of her with some type of shade, but I know not much more than that.
Do you have many shades around here?
Huh? No.
Where would she have met this
That
shade?
gold vanished mid-conversation. You didn't even see it disappear. It's like gone.
I put another gold on the counter and I asked where she might have met that shade.
And she goes, I have many other items, she says to you, Blix. I have a grimoire of the undead. Perhaps that would interest you. 10 things that cannot be. Pastries of Regard Glacier.
That cannot be?
Yes. Oh, she pulls a dagger out, puts it on the counter. It's a rusted dagger with an empty gem socket. I do believe this could be enchanted with a proper gem.
That's delightful. Do you have any musical instruments?
She does. She pulls out a lute that's damaged. We need to have all the strings replaced.
Sadly, mine is better.
Well, there is a bard here in town. Perhaps that fanciful chap himself. And she kind of looks off wistfully. Perhaps he can help you with the repairs of this. The ladies do quite fancy him, I have to say.
Where can I find him?
Bard.
Well, of course, at the inn. Silly girl. You should know that.
Do you have any juggling balls?
You're quite ugly, she says to you.
Thank you. Do you have any juggling balls?
She points up to her shelf. Minnie, over there.
I go and examine those.
Keep your hands to yourself, green-skinned. She looks back at all of y'all. She goes, so. She looks up over at you, Arkin, and she goes, well, what are you offering for these?
Well, I would like to include what my little green friend has found in my purchase.
Well, what has she found?
Juggling balls.
Sure, that's a gold piece.
And what I intend to offer for these 4 items is 20 gold per your sign.
She goes, wow. My heart needs warming. Perhaps you could do more than that.
25 in good faith.
You're trying to deceive her. So let's have a roll off here real quick.
Oh, I'm not trying to deceive. I'm just holding her to her sign. But yes, I'm rolling.
I would like to deceive.
You got a lawful.
All right, go ahead and give me a. Well, yeah, you're trying to barter with her. So, let me look at your character sheet real quick here. Make sure I pick the right stat for you here.
So I am very awkward. I'll be honest about that, but very knowledgeable and would hold to the word of the sign.
You are
Persuasion. He needs
I
persuasion.
do think you should make a persuasion check. Yes.
Here we go.
Sorry, Arkin.
That's fair. Fair roll. Oh.
She goes, She looks at the items you've picked. She goes, these are actually, I had forgotten about these. Some old ancient merchant had come through here and it needed feed and such for their pack mules and departed with these. She fondly strokes the scroll case of the divine nature. What was that again? They said, what was it called?
Oh, sorry.
Divine scroll inflict one. Oh, Masuza or something like that. Masuza.
Yeah, like the Masuza, whatever it's called. Terrible.
I try to convince her that it's a forgery. It's a fake.
She suspiciously looks at you. So you're gonna try to do a deception check?
I am, because I know real scrolls. That's a fake.
After all, it's rusted and dented in terrible condition. He's like, She goes, I will take 50 gold for this. She raises an eyebrow, like, are they going to accept that or not?
For the
What
lot?
is your shiniest trinket that you have?
She points to a glass bead on the wall over there, hanging. It's like a whole bunch of beads strung up. Like when you open the door, they kind of go. They sparkle. If it wasn't for the dust on them, you know, if they had been cleaned up and properly washed, they would sparkle like the dickens.
I go pluck a strand off the wall and add it to
It's
the
like
pile.
it's like a strand that hangs over a doorway, like when you walk through it. You know, like you've seen those with like gypsy kind of.
Oh, like a bead curtain.
Yes, thank you. That kind of thing, but it needs cleaning for sure.
So you're going to add it to the pile. I'll say throw this in and we'll call it 50.
She perks up and she goes, Well, she's kind of looking at you, looking at the group. She rolls a d20. And she goes, very well, I'll take that, she says.
All right.
So you got a damn good deal.
Yeah, we did.
And
I'm not afraid to role play some deal doing.
And you got a bead curtain. There you go. That's the best deal of all right there.
I haven't figured out how to alter everything in my sheet yet, but I will alter it before next game. I'm taking notes.
Right. So the items I listed for you up there in chat, I may have to adjust for D&D Beyond because sometimes the random store generator creates things that don't exist in D&D Beyond. So I'll help you with that.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, as she says to you, Raphael, is there something you need? And she kind of looks you up and down.
Do you perhaps have any healing wands?
No, I don't. This is a small town. This is an outpost. I would say go talk to the monastic order up on the hill. The monks, they're quite amongst themselves about healing. Although I don't know why they don't heal the harvest master. It makes no sense to me. They say it's his wishes, but he never told me that.
How often do you talk to him?
He would come by occasionally and meander through my belongings. Oftentimes he would drop things off for the offerings from the pilgrims that he said he didn't want to clutter up his place and perhaps they would serve some purpose here. He kind of points to the items you actually purchased. He goes, you never knew what he would drop off. He was a kindly man, I have to say. Psh. She has a scowl
When was
about
the
it when
last
she
time you
says
talked?
that. Like, it's like, could you be pissed off saying somebody's nice and kind? But she did that, you know.
As I collect the
When
things,
was the
I'll
last time
hand the wolf item to Nick. I'll hand the divine spell scroll to Raphael, and I'll give the potion. I'll let Blix know that I'm going to give them the potion once I revitalize it.
All right.
Yeah, it's a good thing you did the magic check. Otherwise, this little
So, when was the last
werewolf
time you
statue
talked
would
to
turn me into
the?
a werewolf.
Sorry, what, Nick?
It's a good thing he did the magic check. Otherwise, this little statue thing could have been cursed and turned me into a werewolf.
You actually just said that?
Yes, as we're walking out.
You're welcome.
Long game.
Long game. Got it. All right.
Now, Raphael, what were you saying?
I was asking her when was the last time she spoke to the huntmaster.
The Hunt Master, you said?
Yeah, isn't that the guy's title?
Harvest
Or is it-
Master.
Harvest Master. Excuse me.
Yeah. 1 second, please.
Sure.
She goes, "Oh, that was some time ago. Honestly, I've kind of lost track of that, to be truthful with you."
So you haven't talked to him in the past couple of days. I understand. Thank you.
Yes.
So I was going to pray to Ayun and see if I was guided to anything in here.
Nothing stood out to you. No.
Okay. Thank you.
Except for the scrolls that have already been given to you, I guess, or if he gave them to you.
Right.
So what do y'all wish to do at this point? She goes, "Well, I do appreciate you keeping my shop warm and providing heat here. I don't have to burn as much coal, but you're blocking the way from all my other customers." And you look out behind you. There are no other customers outside.
Of course.
We leave.
I'll make my way out, but I'll flip one more silver piece to her
Ah,
on our way out.
thank you, child. Thank you. Do come back anytime for my knickknacks. You find
I dropped
yourself
her
out.
3 gold coins too on the way out.
You're feeling guilty, are you now? You make your way outside. Nick, as you make your way out, and your friends are all kind of gathered up front, talking about what their next move is going to be, you notice across the way. Let's see if I can post this here in the chat. She's slightly more warmly dressed, but the outfit she's wearing is not really what she's wearing here, but imagine more winter furry kind of clothing to keep her warm. But this is the only image I have of her. So click that link in the chat and let me know if it comes up, Nick. All right, so this feral kind of woman across the way, you recognize her as one of the pilgrims that was in the group with you as you were traveling, and she was the one that caught your attention as a practitioner of the ways that you know. Yeah, she was also next to another individual that, while you didn't know them, they both seemed to have that same aura about them. And she's like across the way, and as you come out, she's leaning against a building, and she's kind of like wiping off a dagger she has, kind of clean it, and she holsters it as she looks back at you, and she kind of nods in your direction. It doesn't approach, doesn't do anything. It's kind of as you all kind of gather outside. And she's in front of the inn, which I've forgotten the name of. Give me a second here. What was it called?
Mother's Bounty.
Yes, thank you very much.
I nod towards her and I make sure my group is with me, and I head across the street to go talk to her.
All right. So you make your way across. Do the rest of you follow Nick, or what do y'all do?
Follow Nick.
All right. So the the mother's bounty. Let me see here. What do we have here? It's a think of like a Viking kind of low slung great hall, if you will. It's a very long kind of structure. The doors leading in are it's just heavy timbers that's built of stone, bricks made of mud that have been packed and heated have kind of created the walls. Snow has blown up against the sides of the building and along the roof. Again, it's a high-pitched roof. You can see where snow has fallen off of it and created piles along the road here and there. There's a definite path into it, and along the roof you see 3 chimneys that are just emitting an immense amount of smoke. You hear voices and stuff from the inside as the doors open in and close as individuals come in and out. All the individuals going in seem to be more like the working class, rugged individuals who have had to deal with, the nature of the environment around them. As you approach, what do you do?
I kind of keep like a 6-foot distance, social distancing. And I nod my head to her and say, "Hello, my name is Nick."
She goes, "I know. I was quite impressed by the fight y'all had with the dragon. I also noticed she kind of sniffs the air. Similar, well, she says, kind of lets that linger.
I nod my head knowingly. It's like, yes, I sense the same.
She goes, a drink?
Yes. Is it okay if my friends join us?
And she kind of looks back at them. I would prefer some time, but I guess that's okay.
Okay.
Y'all
follow.
Go ahead.
I follow her inside.
All right, so you go inside, and you immediately, as the door opens up, a warmth just kind of envelops all of you, just immediately pulling away the cold bitterness that's built into your bones and your skin. And you're just frozen, Your chest is cold. Your arms are cold, but as the heat envelops you, it just kind of warms you up. You can smell the tinge of, like a bar kind of has that bit of a hoppy kind of smell to it. That's definitely heavy here in the air. There's conversations going on and murmurs of people talking. And there's a bard playing off in the distance somewhere with some off in the back corner with some music. And so the common room is of the Mother's Bounty as home to just a handful of characters and individuals moving around and about. There's a bard on stage playing a finely made lute, by the way. It's quite beautiful. You can see that. As you walk in, a cheery voice comes from the common room. Oh, have a seat and welcome, please. I'll bring some food to you as soon as possible and beverages if you prefer. A barmaid with an angelic smile whirls from table to table, refilling drinks, and invites you to sit anywhere you like. I'll be with you in a little while, she says. And there's a complaining cat somewhere in the background.
It's not me.
Not it.
Whatever it is, I'll do it.
I would like to sit down and keep an eye on the bard. Just trying to notice, maybe perceptively as the night goes on, if he's going to cast any spells. Not just being aware of him casting.
Sure.
I would like to sit.
He doesn't seem to be casting spells, but he does stand up and kind of strums his lute as he plays it, and he walks through the crowd, and he'll stop and continue singing, but the lute itself continues to play, oddly enough, without his fingers, and he quickly folds with origami kind of speed and quickness. He creates a paper flower, and he hands it to various women throughout the crowd, and he goes, "You are the prettiest girl in all of the realms, my lady." He hands her a rose flower made of paper. And he repeats this numerous times. He's a flirt. He's an impressive flirt. And a major flirt. He has no compunction about doing that. And he works his way through the crowd, eventually to your table, and flirts with the young ladies at your table also.
Am I within about 30 feet of the stage area where he would be stationed?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. Then I would just like to stay here, keeping that going, and just pay attention to if he's going to cast and start casting a ritual casting of Detect Magic in the area.
Sure.
And then I'll just sit back while everyone else does stuff.
Sure. So,
I'm sorry, could I ask the innkeeper about casting before I do that?
you didn't, but you can if you like.
I apologize. May I retcon?
Yes, you can. All right. So you're waiting until the barmaid comes up. And then, like I said before, she's kind of a jolly, friendly face, kind of not overweight, but she certainly has a certain amount of. She's healthy. Let's say that. She goes, my ladies, my lords, it's so nice to have new faces in town. Oh. Are you the ones who came in with the pilgrims recently? I've heard great stories of your adventures on the way here. Is that true? Did you really fight a white dragon? They're such fierce beasts. And she stops.
I'll
and
say,
waits.
well, they did.
It was a blue eyes white dragon.
She kind of, what? Slightly a bit confused. And she looks at you, Arca, and she goes, they did? She says.
I recently joined this party, and they are the great heroes that didn't slay. They're the great heroes that.
It was mostly me. These other guys helped, but it was mostly me.
Whatever, it was scared of me. I have claws.
So
Everyone was ferocious, and that's why I decided to join this league.
So as she's
I was not ferocious.
as she's listening to you, you know she's like her fingers are like caressing some sparkly necklace jewels she has hanging around her neck as she's listening. It's like this is a habit she has. You know, she's like stroking them quite pleasantly.
So that
I
I
like
like
your
I
necklace.
spun the mother of dragons.
I like your necklace.
And she looks at you, Pandora, and she goes, Tabaxians, you like all things that are sparkly.
It is very sparkly and it looks beautiful on you.
She goes, what do you have in your bag? She said. Perhaps we can talk.
Oh, just some rocks and stuff.
You better not sell my ink.
I was told to tell you that your rooms are paid here by the abbess. She said you probably would enjoy our accommodations more than the simple, humble chambers of the abbey itself. They're warm, they're comfortable, but you will have to bunk up together. We have 3 rooms available. Each room can hold 2 people.
The room's as good as Lyra's.
Good as what?
She
Were the
doesn't.
rooms as good as Lyra's?
Lyra's? Oh, these rooms.
She
Lyra.
doesn't know who
Lyra.
Lyra is.
Lyra?
Yeah.
Oh, she goes. From what I've seen of the monks, I would say these rooms are far more comfortable. They're heated, plenty of feathered beds and comforters and blankets and a place to put your equipment and storage and of course the entertainment we have here. She points to the bard and other. She kind of looks around some of the ladies in the room, comforts, if you will.
Oh, so Lyra did not stay here.
Sorry, Nick, you keep cutting out halfway through your sentences.
Sorry, so Lyra did not stay here.
Oh, Lyra. Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Let me see here. No, I've never seen her here. Actually, it's not our clientele, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
Am I your clientele?
She kind of looks at you and she goes, "Well, we can't be particular, I guess you can say."
I juggle.
Oh, you should get on the stage. Perhaps you'll earn some coins. They love a dancing goblin.
Oh, yes, please. I love to perform. Is the stage available right now?
Well, you
I'll
have to-
juggle right now. I'm ready to go. I'm all warmed up.
You'll have to tell the bard to give you some space.
Bard, give me some space. I'm going to juggle.
Be nice.
Please give me some space. I'm going to juggle.
There you go. Good girl.
So she's like, as she kind of says, well, just ask the bard. Perhaps he'll let you to do such.
I go and sweetly ask the bard, giving him my best goblin smile, if I could juggle for a bit.
And so you approach up to him and you're gonna ask him that.
Oh yeah, I am, very much so.
He kind of, as he sees you approaching, he kind of he stops playing. His lute stops playing music. And by the way, when it comes far as detect magic, his lute does radiate magic. It's quite strong magic, by the way. But as you approach, he goes,
Hexa.
"What the fuck is that?"
It's a gremlin.
It's a gremlin. It's the female gremlin from Gremlins 2. Oh.
All right.
Check your Facebook messages, you'll see it there. But anyway, you were saying I approached the bard.
All right. He goes, he stops playing. The lute stops on itself too, and he takes a knee. And he goes, "Ah, my lady, I am Roar. Good luck, bard from Burdusk. And you are?" As he takes a knee and kind of extends his hand out to you.
I take his hand and I say, "I'm Blix Bronzefoot.
As you go to take his hand, he flips his hand around real quick, and there's a rose that appears in his hand. And he kind of goes, "Ah, you are but the most beautiful princess among these lands."
Finally! I tell you, sir, you don't know how hard it is to get people to recognize that.
Beauty is much more so than skin deep.
It's so much more. I am a famous performer from across the mountains, and I would love to juggle here for a time if you don't mind.
Oh, on stage?
Please.
Then he kind of leans down close to you, holding your hand, kind of pulls close a little bit. It's not uncomfortable, but you can tell like he wants to have a conversation with you. And he goes, "Well, if you're going to perform on my stage, then I have half your cut. Do you understand?" Suddenly, it's real business here.
I'll give you a third.
Half.
It's as a courtesy to you that I'm juggling instead of playing my lute. I'm much better than you are. I'll give you 40%.
He looks at you for your lute. Do you have a lute?
I do have a lute. It's a very fine lute. I won it in a competition.
And he goes,
'Cause
"Really?"
I'm good.
And he goes, "Competition? Truly?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you realize, wait a minute.
No!
Holy shit. You recognize him. Back to the other group.
The goblin went down to Georgia.
Exactly.
Looking for a soul.
That's when you both back away and go, "You! You!" All right.
Well, we may need a battle scene over here.
Roll for initiative.
You, me, dueling lutes. Here and now, we'll settle this.
I wasn't even here for round 1, and I am.
Nobody was. It was backstory. Nobody was here. I'll send my backstory to the whole group in chat later. But
So, back to the table while you're two having this most engaging conversation. Where were we? So she's like stroking her necklace, talking to you, flirting, and she brings back a moment later. She brings back some ale and some food for y'all to enjoy. It's very hearty food. It's overcooked, unfortunately, but it's so fatty. At least it doesn't dry out, right? It's very fatty goat. And she brings out a very strong, like German dark malty beer to you, and kind of puts it on your table for you. Then she says to you, Nick, she goes, "Why do you speak of the lady? I haven't seen her about town in some time."
We're just friends with her, and she suggested that we come by here, as well as the Sybil's curiosities.
Oh, Sybil. Yeah, that old hag. Not much there of value, I must say. But I will tell you, though, although I didn't know much of Lyra, I did see her a few times skulking towards and about the graveyard here in town. Or so I heard.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's definitely interesting. Did you hear about her going anywhere else?
Like I said, it's really not our clientele here. Oh, excuse me. She turns around and flights across the bar to another set of tables that just people just coming in, some workers from the evening. She's gone.
So, do we still have our friend visiting with us?
Yeah, she's kind of sitting at the table and patiently waiting.
I turn my attention to her and ask her how long she's been practicing her craft.
Years, perhaps a bit longer than you have, but though it's hard to say. It's hard to find those of our ilk, especially more than one at a time in certain areas.
I'm fairly new to it.
Who introduced you? She says.
It was someone that I helped.
Yeah, look at your backstory.
Yeah.
Hold, please.
Do, 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 do.
Oh God, our kid doesn't know about the hold, please.
Well, I remember my own history.
Arkin knows hold, please.
Do I?
I think I just have it written down as just I don't have his name. So let's make one up.
Sessions back, there was a messenger spell, and I was looking funny, talking to nobody, and they're like, "What's up with me?" And I had to respond back to who was using the messenger spell. Hold, please.
Ah.
That is not the hold, please I was thinking of, but yes.
Okay. I tell her that I was traveling through the woods, and I came across a gentleman named Jolan Grimsroll. He was injured, and I helped him with his injuries and everything else. Befriended him. We spent some time together, and he taught me some different things.
She goes, I'm not familiar with him, but maybe Fabian Cornwallis would be. He heads up the local cleric order here at the monastery. You know, just from your own personal history, to have an actual order or in an area is very rare.
He said his name was Fabian.
Yes, I'll post it in chat for you.
Okay. I definitely would like to speak to him.
Yes, but it kind of needs to be. And she kind of looks at your friends and goes, you know, quietly.
We can be discreet sometimes. I look over at Blix up on stage doing her thing.
Right. So she's now, you know, like having a very deep conversation, and like this when you realize there's more to this conversation with that bard than just a friendly can I perform on your stage.
Mm-hmm.
But she said, but again, she says to you, Laiana, she goes, your friends, what is your mission here? Are you just escorting the pilgrims or something more? She raises an eyebrow to you. And again, she has that very feral look about her, as I showed that picture to you earlier.
Yeah. I tell her we were simply transporting the pilgrims right now.
Where are you?
And we're just kind of going around town. The Abagus asked us to check out some things, and so we're just looking around, checking some stuff out for her.
I've heard that there has been some strange things going on here in the town. Now,
As have we.
I haven't had much details, but well, the abbess has been acting kind of strange, they've said.
We heard there was a shade around.
I've been familiar with that, she says. Honestly, I haven't asked many questions around town myself. I've just arrived and just trying to get settled in, and I plan to start my training here.
Oh.
Fabian's quite skilled in what we do.
Definitely look forward to talking to him.
Indeed, she says.
Perhaps we could meet up later, and if we need some help, would you be open to helping us?
Perhaps I can. She
We
goes.
definitely appreciate
She looks at the part. She goes, "Are you here with any of them?" She kind of looks at all of them. Your members.
Yes, we've been traveling for some time.
She goes, "Are you here with a particular one of them?"
Ouch, kabow wow.
Get it, Nick.
No.
Oh, well, let me buy you a few drinks then. She says.
Very well.
All right.
I kind of motioned to the group and everything else, and I'm gonna go sit with her and Be alone for a while.
All
I
right.
pay no attention whatsoever.
Yeah, because
I'm
you're
gonna go
embroiled
walk-
in a
Yeah, you're in the middle
conversation
of
on the
something
stage.
else.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go walk up behind Blix to make sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna look at.
My muscle.
I definitely
So-
want to sit where I can keep an eye on my party.
sure, you're all back of the corner. You're near the actual one of the 3 large hearths where the fire is burning. You could these fireplaces are so huge you could actually walk through them, and they have large chunks of wood just burning here, and it's just a great comfort, right? Even though when you walk away you smell like a fireplace, it doesn't matter. You were warm, you were comfortable. And you know you have rooms here at the inn paid for, so all comforts that you need are readily available.
If only they made cologne that smelled like that.
Right.
As I exit the table, I'll look at Nick and go, "Gruel, gruel."
All right. The Ark, and you're leaving the table. Is there a particular place you're going, or are you just?
I want to give Nick space to do his thing, but also he's not trying to spell anyone that I don't want him to spell.
All right. Well, we're going to have to end here because I do have we have a deployment tonight for work, so I've got to do that. So unfortunately, I have to end here tonight. So we have to stop a few minutes early. I have a WebEx session for work, so I've got to remote in for that.
Who
So Nick's gonna
has?
hook up.
This was a fun night.
Well, there's
This
no
was
combat.
fun.
I know people likes combat, but
Yeah, but
Oh, there's about to be
have that
combat.
every night.
Hey, there was nearly combat between Blix and Pandy.
I've had a great time. Thank everyone for welcoming me in.
I
Welcome.
had no idea wizards could be fun to play with.
you'd be nice.
I hear that read, and
That
thank you.
came out wrong. I've tried to play wizards before. They're hard, and I appreciate you.
We're annoying. We interrupt things and say, "Can I do this first?" But it's usually useful.
Yeah, there's a whole wide range of stuff that wizards can get into.
Yes.
Just
they
'cause
This
can.
is why I don't play wizards, because I never understand that shit.
Imagine
just
being
don't.
like Bill Nye but with magic. Like, what the fuck can I do today?
You can basically make any class just out of spells.
Yeah.
It just takes a lot of reading into the spells to
It
figure
does.
But
out.
let's be clear, there's only one Blix.
Well, yeah, and there's also one Arcan.
All right, folks, I gotta go.
Alright.
Y'all have a
Thank
good
you
night.
again.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Rest well. Thank y'all, everyone.
See y'all next week. Bye bye. And that's it. Hope y'all enjoyed the game tonight.